In this video, I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to strip down, clean, and then reassemble your airbrush. Let's get into it. Although all airbrushes are different, they all operate in a very similar manner. I am using the Iwata Revolution CR, and for cleaning and maintenance you will require the following. Some airbrush cleaner. I'm happy to be using the Vallejo one. I think it's one of the best ones around, pretty well priced as well. A airbrush cleaning kit, you can get these from all over the place. They've got the little brushes and the scraper tool. The spanner that comes with the airbrush. We'll also be using some cotton buds or Q-tips, some paper towel, and this is some airbrush lubricant. This is again the Iwata one that comes with the airbrush. This can be bought separately or may come with your airbrush. First thing we're going to want to do is strip down the airbrush to its component parts. Start with unscrewing the handle. This should be the same for most airbrushes. Next part we're going to remove is the needle nut, which just simply unscrews, pulls out. Then you should be able to slide the needle out if it hasn't jammed with paint. That is your needle out. As you can see, that is where the dirt is. Needle chucking guide is next to unscrew. That simply pops out. Then you will also get the needle spring and the needle guide assembly with this is the lever for operating. Head cap comes off. Again, simply unscrew it, and then you can separate the nozzle cap as well. So those are all your main parts, and then the nozzle itself is just this tiny little bit here. Now this may not always be removable. Some airbrushes, these are not removable. You should get a little spanner with it. Be very, very, very careful. This part is very easy to break, and if you snap that off in there, it's a lot of problems getting it back out. So just very, very gently release it and then remove, and do not lose these. These parts are relatively cheap for some airbrushes, very expensive for others. So take the nozzle off, and that is the airbrush stripped down to all its primary components. Lever comes out. That is about as much as you can take out of one of these airbrushes. So let's get on to the cleaning stage. First thing I always do is remove any dried off or excess paint from the main body of the airbrush. So you can see in the cup here, and we've got some here and some here. So very simple. Airbrush cleaner on a bit of paper towel. As I said, you should be able to just wipe most of this off. So make sure you get as much paint off as you can. You can see most of it's come off on the paper towel. You want to get that cup as clean as possible. May need several attempts. Just keep going. Make sure everything in there is as clean as possible. You do not want any dry paint in there. Just clean the whole airbrush. As I said, any dried on bits will come off. The airbrush cleaner is very good at removing dried paint, as well as obviously paint that's been dried on there for a very long time. So just get all of the paint off. Keep that as clean as possible. And then we'll move on to the next part. As you can see, there is some paint right down at the bottom there. Easiest thing to do is get one of your little airbrush cleaning kits. Take the smallest brush, or one that fits in through the front. You can see it going all the way through. Add a little couple of drops of airbrush cleaner, and just gently clean all of those out. Just gently moving it backwards and forwards till everything cleans out. Obviously, some of it is going to leak out the front, but it's not a problem at all. Right, and then use again paper towel, catch any drips. A couple more, finger over the end. A couple more drops. That'll just rinse anything out that's in there, and then just tap it out. Should there be any dried out paint, that will come out there. So that is then officially the body of the airbrush cleaned out. On to the next. To clean the nozzle cap and the head cap, you can see that there is some green paint on there. Again, simple. Take a cotton bud or a Q-tip, just apply some airbrush cleaner to it and just wipe round. Again, this will remove, the airbrush cleaner does a brilliant job of removing any old paint. As I said, whether it's been on there a couple of days, a couple of hours, even if a couple of weeks. As I said, sometimes if it's dried on for longer, you will require a couple of goes. It may not always come off everything straight away, so just go at it, let it soak if need be. As I said, and just clean all of the excess paint off from all the surfaces. You don't want any little dry bits of paint that potentially could then fall down into the nozzle itself and block the nozzle, or create a sort of slightly distorted jet of paint. So just clean everything, any paint, depending on obviously if you've been using like varnishes or lacquers or something, it may be a bit more difficult to spot. If you're using a coloured paint, obviously you can see where there would be green paint or red paint, etc, etc. So clean all that up, rinse it all out with some airbrush cleaner, and then now on to cleaning the needle. The needle is where a lot of paint will collect. You can see there is some green at the tip there, and all along here as well. It feels a bit rough. It's simply collected up old paint. So again, bit of airbrush cleaner on a paper towel. Be very, very gentle with the needle. You do not want to bend the needle or distort the tip at all. They are very sharp, so please be careful. Do not end up stabbing yourself in the hand. I have done that multiple times and it hurts. So just clean the needle tip until all of the paint has been removed. Again, if you're using a colour, you're going to see the paint coming off on the paper towel. It's difficult to see because of my light, but you can see that the green is coming off there. So just keep wiping until everything is clean, as I said, and just be careful not to bend the needle. If you bend the needle, there is devices out there you can straighten it, but 9 times out of 10 you have to buy a new needle. And again, they vary in price depending on the airbrush and depending on the brand. So you just want to clean the needle till it feels smooth and there is no more sort of traces of paint on there. So that's pretty much the needle done. And now on to cleaning the last bits and then reassembly. The final part to clean before reassembly is the nozzle. Now, as I said, be very, very careful. These are very easy to lose because they are very small and very delicate. This is where this tool comes in. You should have got this as part of an airbrush cleaning kit. It is very simply a spike with a curved off, flattened off edge. This is basically to remove any dried paint and scraped out any old paint. So it's quite simple. The needle goes into it, or the nozzle goes over the spike, and then just gently twist it round, and then any dried out paint will be scraped out with the flat blade side of it. So there shouldn't usually be a lot, don't usually get a huge amount collection in there, but just about see that there is some reminiscences of little green flakes of paint in there. So that is as cleaned out as it's going to get. Once it's all put back together, we'll blast it through some airbrush cleaner, and that should be fully cleaned out. Final thing to do before reassembly is applying some airbrush lubricant. Now please make sure you do use proper airbrush lubricant. As you can see, it's non-toxic, and more importantly, it is silicone free. You do not want any form of silicone based anything near any form of paint. So very simple, just apply a small amount onto the needle and just using your fingers, just gently apply a thin coat over the whole needle, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Just leave it like that, and now we can get back to reassembling the airbrush. Reassembling your airbrush is completely just the reverse of how we took it apart. Starting with the nozzle, again, be very, very careful. Try to be as gentle as possible with this. You do not want to cross thread this. As I said, they are very delicate and very easy to break. So once you've got it in, just very gently screw it in, taking your spanner that you've got with the kit, hopefully, and do not try and over tighten this. You need literally quarter of a turn. That's it. As I said, they are very easy to snap and quite awkward. If you snap one of those off and the threads snap in there, they are very, very difficult to remove. Next up is the head cap. Screw that on, followed by the nozzle cap. Next you need to make the guide back up, so take the chucking guide, needle spring and the spring guide. You will need to make sure obviously that the lever goes in facing upwards. Now is also quite a good time, now that that is there, to put your lever guide in. Again, some of them have got like a little recess to face the back. You can see there's a little cutout there, so that usually faces the back, and that needs to go down and into its, there's a little hole down there, and that little pin needs to go into the hole. So pop that, if I can get it. A little bit awkward. Right, that's in. And now screw that back together. Hand tight. Next up is the needle, which slides all the way in as far forward as it goes. Like that. Needle nut screws on the back. Handle. Double check that the needle is working, so when you pull the handle back, the lever back, the needle goes in and out. And that is an airbrush stripped, cleaned and reassembled. Very quick, very simple. You will find yourself doing a lot of maintenance with airbrushes. As I said, grab yourself some airbrush cleaner on one of these little cleaning kits. They are very, very handy, not massively expensive, and some real basics. As I said, cotton buds and some paper towel. I think most households have those around. And that's it. But thank you for watching. Do not forget to come and check out the Twitch live streams for more mini guides and tutorials like this. And thank you so much for watching. Any comments, leave them below and I will get back to you. Thank you. Bye for now.